Tiamat's Paradise is the map once again. I shall try not to complain overly. It seems everyone loves it. Everyone fucking loves it. I think they're just bored. It's been too many years, and that's it now. They've given in. They'll accept. They're settling. That's what's happening. They're settling. The player base is settling. Anything new will suffice for them right now. Because they're just that bored. Isn't it sad? What a sad state of affairs. I hate settling. Shout out to all the people watching this video right now who settled. Because they just couldn't find the one in time. And then they were worried about their own fertility. They wanted to split the bills. Hey look, there's nothing wrong with it. If you're single, and you're happy, and you're deep into the period of paternal fertility impact factors, which is apparently 35 or over, there's nothing wrong with that as long as you're happy. But also, if you chose to settle because you wanted to cut them bills in half, you needed something else in your life, I respect the decision, but you also have my sympathy, okay? So I dare say that Fufu and Grantovich have settled a little bit here playing on Tiamat's Paradise, but so they are. We've got Guardsman versus the Commando Knob. We've got triple shooters from Fufu here. Probably incurring a little bit too much bleed here, staying in the action. Okay, he does retreat, slightly delayed. Lucky, honestly, I was going to say lucky not to lose any more models with the delayed retreat, and lost one in the end. That's still probably not that bad. Likewise, one going down here for Grantovich. Likely going to be going for the fast Cadetians against the Orcs, but, you know, triple shooters actually would be quite effective against that, so we might even see some heavy weapon team action. We'll have to wait and see. They've gone for one gen at the start, which would make something like Cadetians more viable. Could go for 2 gens if you wanted the heavy weapons team, because it's less requisition for nearly as much power as the Cadetians. So the 1 gen indicates Cadetians. Cadetians obviously good synergy with the Lord General thanks to the medic kits that you get from the Sergeant that you can get on him. General probably wants to just run into melee with the shooters here, tie them up. Just like the Commando Knob did to the Guardsman there, but the Guardsman retreat out without any model bleed, which is nice. But so do the shooters. Not a lot of death all around here this game. A little bit of idling here from the Guardsman here from Grantovich. Needs to be shift queued onto those points. Knob going to go into melee with the Lord General, I assume? No, just shooting at the Sentinel here. Sentinel needs to get out of there. It's a lot of damage from the Knob, and remember, the 100% fire on the move as well. If he managed to force melee a little bit earlier because the Sentinel was a tiny bit closer, that would be the end of the Sentinel. But here come the Catachan Devils, and that will help the IG quite tremendously. As I say, really, the shooters are the counter, so we'll see, but even then, they're not a perfect counter, that's for sure. Need to try and split your shooters up so you don't all get disrupted by the over-reliable. But the first over-reliable of the game is really quite miserable there. Only hitting one single shooter, and that is all the energy gone for the Catachan Devils as they deploy that smoke grenade. So quite wisely there, Fufu just disengages. No need to push hard against the Catachans whilst they're in the smoke and getting their damage resistance. Nice little side capping action going on from the Guardsman. Now we might see some Flamers later on. I actually really like the Flamers against the Orcs, even as a weapon. Orcs have got a lot of models. The shooter boys often like to hug the green cover. There's a lot of these tank traps in this map. Flamers, of course, do bonus damage against units in cover. So actually, it can be very effective against those shooter boys. And even if they go for things like Storm Boys, say you get heavy weapons team and then they get Storm Boys, well, Flamers are actually good at counter-initiating the Storm Boys because they, unlike Sluggers, don't have flame resist and they have to get really close. So the big disadvantage of the Flamers, the range being very low, is negated when the enemy's jumping into you. But if he keeps playing with side-capping Guardsmen, so a lot of utility potential there with Flamers to Gen Bash. But here we go, the Catachans staying in action a little bit too long now. They've now bled 3 models. That is a lot of bleed on Catachans. Really unnecessary. Bleeds 4 models. I mean, he charged them forward. Really, probably want to send the Lord General in a little bit earlier there so he can soak up more of the damage. Now, you don't really want to be bleeding on your Lord General either, but at least they don't bleed power, unlike the Catachans. Let's have a look at what the Catachan Reinforce is going to cost. Apparently, he doesn't have them on auto-reinforce. Yeah, this is too much commitment from Fufu. He shouldn't be taking this fight. He's just bleeding. Oh, is he going to lose that shooter boy squad? Wow, very, very close. But actually, a little bit of a misplay there on the Sentinel. Ooh, Commando Knob should be infiltrating. Why is he not infiltrating? Okay, he infiltrates I don't think Grantovich seen it. He's keeping the sentinel around. He's going to go for some repairs, but I think the K-Nob will out DPS this. Oh, will he? Nope. He doesn't out DPS it, but Grantovich just screwed up. He stopped repairing. And now he kills it with fire on the move. Grantovich! No. There was no need. So, 35 DPS on the K-Nob, right? 20 HP per second heal from the Guardsman, but this is piercing and the Sentinel has heavy infantry armor, so that weakens his 35 DPS to somewhat lower. I don't know if he does out DPS it. He might marginally, but it's really close. We're talking a matter of 1, 2, 3, 4 DPS. It would have took a while to kill that Sentinel, and you could have rotated the General around or some Kadashan Devils, so big mistake there from Grantovich. Of course, running in to try and tie the Commander Nob in melee is a silly idea when he's got 100% fire on the move. That is one of the big advantages of the Commander Nob, because he has shorter range than most of the heroes. Same damage as the Tech Marine, but shorter range, which hurts for cover versus cover fights. Because often when he's in cover, he can't shoot an enemy who's in cover. But they can shoot at him, but the advantage is he gets 100% fire on the move. Again, Kadashan Devils tanking a lot of damage. Really, they should be rushing forward to get into the green cover here and push the shooters back as the blob of range 38 mainline troops just advance. This should be a good fight here for the Guardsmen and the IG in general, because Guardsmen, of course, don't really bleed. The shooters are out of cover here. They bleed way more. But the Lord General, again, making mistakes here from Grantovich. Really bad. Look at that. Just lost his Sergeant and his Stormtrooper because the Lord General shouldn't be the one who's just stood out in the open. He should be hugging the cover. If you're going to do anything, send the Guardsmen out in the open. But really, none of them need to be. To be honest, a lot of these Guardsmen not firing right now. Did they see the Sluggers coming over? I don't know why they retreated. They were having a good firefight there. Just needed to pull them up a little closer so the rear lasguns fought. Anyway, I haven't mentioned it, but Grantovich actually is tier 2 now. Fufu's only just going tier 2. Nice use of hide the boys here. I don't think Grantovich has noticed. No. Going to lose another Stormtrooper. But probably wants to get out right now. Don't think he wants to stay in here and bleed. Again, slow reaction from Fufu. Basically lost those 3 models for no reason. As soon as he got hit by the knockback from the explosive shot, he should have just retreated. Because you weren't going to get out of there without losing models. And what's the advantage to getting out with low HP? What, you really want to cap that wreck point? But then what's the K-Nob doing? Poking a power node? Like, you know, it's low value. That kind of contribution from the K-Nob isn't worth losing 3 Slugger models. But probably just indecision from Fufu. Be interesting to see what the K-Nob's going to do in tier 2. You would assume he's going to get the shotgun, really good at punishing, well, he's punishing all these squads in it. Stormtroopers as well. Can CC any Psychers that come out with the passive attacks from the shotgun knocking him over. But the Kaboom versus the Sticks is the real question. I don't know how much I value this. I guess, you know, 3 HP regen's kind of insane, to be honest, in a ranged hero, but it feels like he hasn't been able to exploit it too well. I guess the fact that he is reduced range makes it tricky to exploit that. He was trying there with the cover. Got knocked out of it by the Kadashans again. So here we go, we see the medic kits on the Kadashans, but they've got a Sarge as well. However, there is now a Slugger Nob, so he's going to be a lot more tanky. That Slugger Nob is ideally going to want to get onto the Lord General, but for now just using the burners to take out some gens, which is fine. Okay, we've got the aiming what's that, and here's the Psyker. Yeah, good luck dealing with the Psyker, that's going to be a problem. It's not had his nerfs yet, and you can see the tremendous amount of range DPS that he does. If we've got a Strip Soul to slow down the Sluggers, finally activates the Strip Soul. Feels like that was a little bit late, and he actually loses the Kadashan Devils. Really big loss there for Grantovich. I mean, especially playing as the Lord General. But the Slugger's staying in super long. Very lucky for Fufu. Managed to get all the models attacking other things other than the Slugger Nob himself, so the Slugger Nob survives. That, of course, would be the most expensive purchase. A Creeping Basilisk Barrage, really. Grantovich quite desperate to hold on to his power, it seems. Forces off those boys. Kills a Storm Boy. Interesting to see no Flamers as well. I feel like there's been multiple opportunities to bash these gens. He seems to be capping quite safely with that secondary Guardsman quite often in this match. Earthshaker Helm. I believe this gives him the shockwave. Diviners of Foresight. I'm not sure what this does. I can't even remember. It might be the range increase. Nope, it's his DPS increase. And some stat boosts, more HP, a little bit of HP regen. You see here he's getting into the green cover and he's going to be an absolute pain to dislodge. But the best option here would be some melee. So here we go, sluggers. But they didn't focus on him, they went straight for the Lord General. They did manage to kill the Commissar on the Lord General, so at least that's a decent bit of bleed. You've got to be really careful with the Lord General. He can be very impactful in combat. When he gets all of these upgrades, he becomes exceedingly tanky. But you're bleeding on your hero. That's the problem. Guardsman here running around just with a Commissar. That's interesting. Ooh, nice bomber, boys. Needs to get on the Psyker, though. No, Stormboys needs to get out. Taking way too much damage. Not replaced the Commissar yet. Commissar is really good in this Lord General retinue. You got to remember it buffs the damage of everyone else in the squad by 15%. So it makes that sniper rifle a lot more impactful. And he himself does pretty good damage in range and melee. Not sure what the shoot boys are doing here. Not even properly in cover, not that it would particularly matter with the anti-cover damage of the primary Psyker. K-Nob's like, nope, don't want that. You see, imagine if he had Kaboom here waiting just on the edge as all those guardsmen come past and then whoosh, blows them all up. I mean, you could even plant IEDs now the Cadishans are dead, actually. Scratch that. There's more Cadishans. I wouldn't have gone for Cadishans. Personally, I'd have gone for a Stormtrooper squad. Exploit the range, especially with a sniper rifle buff. Man, you're going to be bleeding these poor orcs for days. And the thing is, I know there's double melee, which is probably why he's gone for the Cadishans, but with the Psyker, you shouldn't need it. The whole shockwave just completely missed there. I mean, Stormboys for some reason have just jumped on the Cadishans, which seems very stupid. Out of all the choices they could have made there, that was a pretty terrible idea, and of course with the medic kit, that was pretty good as well. Last turret literally has just been constructed here by Grantovich, and it's performing pretty beautifully here, adding an extra 40 DPS to this fight, and the orcs don't like it. Massively a VP drain for Fufu right now with a 3-0 cap against him, but to be fair to Fufu, he was actually already ahead in VPs, so he's not actually in a terrible spot. Now the reason he's starting to fall behind is of course he decided to go straight to tier 3, whereas Grantovich has got this Psyker and the Kadishan Devils being replaced too. Did obviously get the Stormboys in tier 2 to Fufu, but I guess Fufu's not really bleeding too much. So we'll see what his choice is. You would have to assume right now he'd be going for a looted tank. Yeah, no AV on the field right now, other than the Melter from the Kadishan Devils, but that should never really get in range of a looted tank. And good harassment here as well. Taking out Jen's going to be quite impactful. Man, look at that Psyker damage. Scary. Has this thing got the upgrade? Oh, this must be an upgraded turret. Yep. So you can see it's got 50% extra range, and it also gets 50% extra damage. And he's building an IED in front of it as well in case the melee runs onto it. That's pretty cool. Maybe we would have built it a little further forward though, so it doesn't actually hurt the turret when it blows up. Pretty scary amount of range DPS here for Grantovich, but the problem is he's going to have to deal with a tank. And that basic range DPS isn't going to be very good at that. Oh wow. Absolutely rips that shooter boy squad to pieces. Coming down here with the shooters, very optimistic. Should have maybe ran across here and before retreating. I've had a bit more chance to live. Look at the damage. See, the Melter gun from the Kadishans also ignores cover. Melter always ignores cover. But look at the damage from the looted tank. I've said it before, highest damage per hit from a tank and the highest splash damage on a tank shot. And you see it in action there, very, very scary. Look at that! See it blowing up the turret. Yeah, I don't know about that. I guess he predicted the Stormboys would jump on top of it, which is why it wasn't slightly far forward, which should help against the sluggers, but not so much the Stormboys. mean, Grantovich clearly not realising that Fufu was so far ahead in tech, or he wouldn't have been building things like that. Nice shockwave there, going to disrupt those sluggers. And they can't do anything. There's potential explosive shot here. Again, I don't know why Fufu's staying in combat so long there. Guess he looked over at his tank or something, I'm not sure. Getting pretty close right now. Taking a couple of melters, nothing huge though, like I said. See, the Kadishans are running into melee because the... oh, now this stops. The melter actually has fire on the move, even though the shotguns on the Kadishans don't. But yeah, they don't really want to be taking all this damage. It's just stalling. Fufu now on the 2-1, soon to be 2-0. And actually, Grantovich quite far ahead in VPs now. Obviously dominating the tier 2 situation. Not seen enough strip soul really from the Psyker. Such a good ability. Because they'll still shoot while he's channeling it. And it's something like an 80% snare or something. It's an absolutely gigantic snare. And then it debuffs the melee damage resistance of the squad too to make your Kadishans hit even harder. But here, there goes a big boom shot going to disrupt the infantry. But the real threat right now is the Lehman Russ. Lehman Russ though, as it's moving forward, will likely prioritise Storm Boys, which are on its ass. Trying to chop it to pieces with that Storm Boy knob in his heavy melee. Again, strip soul, where is it? Snare this slot Storm Boys. We did get that shotgun in the end. Special shooter, as he calls it. And we're going to need some repair support for the looted tank. With the other shooter boy squad going down though, suddenly Fufu's looking quite thin for units. Slugger boys are free for the repairs. Now he's going to go for sticks. I don't know, man. It's a bit tricky. It's a bit tricky fighting the Lehman Russ. There's never an easy answer really for the Orcs against Lehman Russ, especially if it goes Executioner. Kind of defeats everything. And that is what I would be trying to save up for if I was Grantovich. You know, you could get Commandos, have that supplemental AV. Thing is, he is Commando Knob, so getting the rocket launcher and the Commando Knob probably should actually be the priority. You actually do a lot of damage to the infantry squads, especially in retreat with the right in mid crosshairs ability, but more importantly, you'll actually have an opportunity to kill this damn Lehman Russ. Commander squad would be okay. Of course, you've got the stun bombs here, but there's no real follow-up. So he immobilizes it, and he's got the Storm Boys now on rear armor, but you know, too much DPS here. Commissars contribute a lot of DPS, a lot of lasguns and Kadishans. It's just not ideal really. But the rate of fire on that basic cannon Lehman Russ kind of letting Grantovich down right now, so the looted tank is actually going to make it out. And knobs, that's a terrible idea. That is not a good idea when there is a Psyker and Kadishans on the field. And again, just go Executioner Cannon. That's going to then get Plasma Cannon damage, which does even more to knobs. So I think you really need to prioritise the rocket launcher here to have any hope of killing the Lehman Russ. I don't like the stick bomber choice. I would have gone Commandos because they do really good range damage, even just with their 5 shooters. They're on par with fully upgraded shooter boys, but bleed less, so you can punish the Kadishans. You can infiltrate around, potentially ambush the Psyker and force him off. You can get a rocket to deal with the Lehman. It's just good utility. I'm not really sure what knobs are meant to be doing right now. And Grantovich now is purchasing Kassakin, so he's going to have some really high DPS plasma guns also to take out these knobs. And a heavy infantry, relatively fast moving threat, which... yeah, going to be tough to deal with that. Where's the old reliable on the big blob of orcs there? A little bit late. Really slow reactions here from Grantovich. Once again, no strip souls on the knobs, so the knobs are now into melee with the Lehman Russ. We see the high explosive shot there from the Commander Knob doing a great amount of burst damage to the Kadishan Devils, but can he kill them? Apparently not. Where are the sticks? Oh, he's going for the stun bomb instead. Oh, I guess he got the knobs because he wants to stun the Lehman Russ and then hit the tank with the knobs. And this might work. He's getting a lot of damage. Ooh, can he do it? Has he got another jump with the Storm Boys? Oh, he's basically in the base, though. Can the knobs kill it right now? They get it! The knobs get the Lehman Russ. I mean, look, bad play from Grantovich. It should have been moving away way sooner. I don't know how he got caught by stun bombs so easily. And he misplayed. He missed the old reliable on the main blob of orcs. I mean, So many problems. And then the whole time, the knobs didn't get snared by Strip Saw from the Psyker. So crazy, but look at this range DPS right now. You've got the hotshot las guns and plasma guns coming out of the Kasrkin, along with shotguns and many, many las guns. And the Psyker, all with buffed range thanks to the Fire on My Target ability from the Lord General here. Unfortunately, they're hitting the terrain with the looted tank, not ideal. Kasrkins were running forward there to try and hit that looted tank with a crack grenade, I imagine. A lot of plasma damage coming out onto the knobs. Pew, 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 pew. Tries the shockwave but misses. There we go. Terrifying Visions now active. Suppressing those knobs. Now Strip Saw. And the Kasrkin are going to go into melee. Of course they are, because Kasrkin do crazy amounts of melee damage. No, they're running away. This is a mistake. They should have just gone into melee. They'd have killed the thing. Okay, Psyker needs to get out of there, getting hit by the Slugger knob, but they wiped the fucking... They wiped the knobs. Dude, 825 HP on this Psyker level 3. That is insane. How are you going to kill this guy when he's got a suppression, he's got an 80% snare, he's got an on-demand knockback, and he's got 825 HP. You've got no chance of killing this guy. Range 52. No chance. He will get nerfs, if he's not already nerfed by the time this video comes out. Because he is so good. Look at the range with the buff from the Lord General. Ooh, that's scary. I feel for Fufu here, man. Finally, though, Commando's coming out. I think they're way too late. I like the idea with the stick bombers, and he did get the looted tank in the end with the sticks. But... I don't know. Nice use of Love Dadaka. And he was going to combo it with a stun bomb as well to really elongate the CC there. Not really necessary. Grantovich had already retreated his stuff, but... cool concept at least. Fufu's all over the map, man. Looking on the right hand side, he's doing quite well too. I wonder if the explosive shot is off cooldown here on the commando knob. Oh, I might have just used it again on these Kadashins, not sure. Nope, just used it on that, but there's another looted tank. I'm really shocked to not see the rocket launcher on the commando knob. It's actually one of the best things about him. Such powerful AV. Because it fires in bursts and he can just come out, hit you, and then just disappear again with infiltration. That was a good boom shot, knocking all the IG off the point. And this is getting pretty intense now for Grantovich. He's only down to 34 VPs. He's not sending anything to the east either, where the Stormboys are. I think Grantovich is going to lose. He's preoccupied with a mid. He does decap the point, but it doesn't matter. There's still 2 other points that are capped, and he isn't sending anything. What are the Kadashins doing? Oh, they're idling in base. They need to get to the right hand side. He's going to lose. He's got no VPs. Oh, and there comes the rocket launcher. Not before time. Yeah, Fufu loses his units, but it doesn't matter. For some reason, Grantovich just totally missed the VPs. He had tools, he had the Kadashan Devils, and they can easily 1v1 the Stormboys, and then he had this level 4 Guardsman squad, which he could have rotated around here and got onto this VP. Yeah, pretty sloppy one there, to be honest with you. A lot of mistakes from both players, but it was nice. It ended up being relatively even. I dare say Fufu would have had this one if it wasn't for the overpowered nature of the Psyker at the moment. And with Kadashan nerfs and Psyker nerfs incoming, I think Fufu will find himself in a nice position here in this matchup. So, good to see. Hope you enjoyed that one, folks. That's going to be all from you, boy Torpid, this time. I am signing out.